there, my name is Hilma, and this is my first unscripted video on the internet. It is by no means my first video on the internet. I have a pretty active Instagram page. It was active until a couple weeks ago. I still have the account, I just kind of stopped posting because I needed to take a break from my mental health, and I'm still not ready to go back to my Instagram content because I post what I hope to be nuanced political views about what's going on in Iran. And for context, it is about early March of 2026 right now. The Islamic Republic of Iran slaughtered 40,000 protesters in early January of 2026, and as of a few weeks ago, the United States has initiated strikes against the Islamic Republic. And so that's all happening in the news. And that's what I'm talking about mostly on my Instagram page. And I don't want to talk about the same things on YouTube yet. I think that's something that I'll get to. But my goal for this little YouTube series, or whatever you want to call it, is just going to be to talk about my life. I want a record of who I am to be floating around on the internet. I have no sense of privacy. I don't care. I should care more. And I don't leave my bank passwords laying around. I'm just not a very reserved person on the internet. So I want to leave a record of who I am and where I came from. And why should you listen to these videos? You shouldn't. I'm just a random stranger. I'm not doing this to get views. I'm doing this as like a little personal project so that I don't forget how to speak into the camera for when I next want to be active on my Instagram page. So we'll just get right into it. I am Iranian-American. I was born outside of Birmingham, Alabama. So I'm from Alabama. And then when I was about 7 years old, my mom packed up me and my younger brother and moved to Iran to stay with her parents because my father, also Iranian, my parents were both Iranian. They got married in Iran, moved here together, and my dad went to college in Alabama. My mom was not allowed to go to college, which was part of the reason that they separated when I was 7 years old, is because my dad was kind of a misogynistic asshole who also drank too much and gambled his fortune away. Whatever he had, he gambled it away. So he was not a very pleasant person to live with. So my mom left, and we went to Iran, which I'll get into the story of how that all went down. But yeah, I lived in Iran for about 11 years. I moved back to the US with my mom and brother when I was 17. And wouldn't you know, we moved back in with my father at first. So that was a choice made on my family's behalf. I was not, I had no say in what actually happened at the time. I was 17 years old. I was a minor. But yeah, the story of how we got there. So, like I said, my mom moved us back when I was about 7 years old. I was born in 1994, meaning that this would be the summer of 2001 is when I moved back to Iran. And something crazy that happened during the summer of 2001 was 9/11. 9/11 happened. And wouldn't you know, the day that we were supposed to fly from the United States to Iran coincided with what was going on regarding 9/11. I don't know if our flight was on the exact day or like the day after, but it got canceled because no flights were going to the Middle East at that time. Took a couple months for us to embark on our journey, I think. But yeah, I remember some of my earliest memories are sitting in front of the TV and just watching the news about 9/11. Like, that is a core memory for me, and a lot of people my age, right? And if you lived in America on 9/11 2001, you have some memories of it if you were conscious of it as a person. I'm gonna cut the video at this point. I'm gonna cut the video and say goodbye because it took me longer to get through this without stumbling on my words than I thought it would. Again, the video is unscripted, but like I still will pause it or stop the video and start over if I start saying things that make absolutely no sense, which I do a lot. I come across as somewhat articulate on the internet, I'd like to think at least, especially on Instagram where I have scripts and like I'm prepared for everything. I do come off as somewhat articulate, but you would be shocked at how awkward I am in real life. So I'm gonna end the video now. Leave a comment if you watched up until this point, just because I think that would be really interesting to see if anyone's actually watching these all the way through. And have a good one.